Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's, offers fully covered loading and unloading area with individual pin-coded gate and door access. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
Hafa Guam, I'm Adriana Catero, and this is Crime Time. I'm joined here with Sergeant Paul Tapau, and we are on location of where a recent incident took place. It was on October 18th, and we just finished discussing it a little bit. It was on a Friday. There was a man living up here at this apartment, and then there was 2 suspects, I believe, right? And he was assaulted, and I'm sure you'll be able to give us a few more details of the incident.
Yeah, so, again, thank you, Guam, for tuning in into Crime Time. This is really an important segment because we're going to highlight a home invasion incident that happened that night. And, we want to showcase the time, the location, and, of course, what happened. So on Friday, October 18th, at around 7 o'clock in the evening, the individual was home, the victim was home, when 2 individuals entered into his apartment. This is located in the 2nd floor. And he was violently assaulted by the individuals with a baseball bat. Now, fearful for his safety, he utilized any escape mechanism, and unfortunately, he had to scale down the bedroom window, out the balcony, from the 2nd floor. And he actually ran over to the adjacent apartment, which is the Academy Garden Apartments, which is over here in this site, seeking for help and assistance. Now, again, the time, 7 o'clock in the evening. It's really a busy time here at in this area, in Mangilao, because you have students who are attending the Guam Community College, and of course the residents and everything that are home within the adjacent apartments. And this is really an incident in which we are trying to highlight so that we can bring light and hopefully bring any possible witnesses or anybody who has any information about this crime to utilize the Guam Crime Stoppers by submitting tip. And the last that we got is if we can make our way here. The subjects were actually seen fleeing.
And you guys still have not found them?
No, and this is why we're reaching out to the community relative to this case, is because of the fact that the victim, along with the security guard, had actually witnessed the suspects fleeing towards this direction. So this general vicinity is where it happened. If you can see that he jumped from the balcony area, the 2nd floor, proceeded to University Gardens, met with the security guard, seeked help, and he was also able to provide information about the suspects who were last seen wearing hooded sweaters with pants, armed with baseball bats, fleeing towards the George Washington High School access road. So this access road connects to many different areas within this strip in Mangilao. There's apartments adjacent to here, and of course you have the main strip of Washington Drive, and of course the campus.
Do you know if they were males, females?
We know that there were men. He described them as men. So, this is the only description that we have. And again, why we're highlighting this is because of the fact of the violence of the crime. He was home. He was assaulted by men with weapons. And, a baseball bat, it could have been serious, had he had the instinct to retreat and to safeguard his well-being. He did everything and anything to get out of harm's way by skating down the 2nd floor, jumping right off the balcony and seeking help. So, we're asking the community, if anybody has any information, to please give us a call. Utilize the Guam Crime Stoppers tip line by submitting a tip online at guam.crimestoppersweb.com, or call our dispatchers. This is, I guess, a great segue to lead us into the holiday, to prevent any crimes like this from happening and to not become a victim, because, we're getting ready for the holiday season, and this is a great opportunity in which we can actually, it's unfortunate that this happened, but we want to use this as an opportunity to prepare everybody, because once Thanksgiving comes along, everybody's going to get into the holiday festivities, and we want everybody to be aware of their surroundings and understand what they can do to prevent themselves by becoming victims.
So in this situation, the man was assaulted, quite possibly things stolen as well. But I know that there's been home invasions where sometimes people don't even take anything. But you might come home later in the day and you might notice that someone was there, or you just notice that someone might have broken into your home, or they might have stole something and you just weren't home. Should people report this at all? Even if they weren't assaulted or if there weren't anything, how important is it?
It's very important. And just to get the clarification with the home invasion and the difference between a burglary and a home invasion. So burglary is pretty much, where individuals surreptitiously enter into a dwelling of a home, okay? And with the new bill, with the new passage of the home invasion, it really now brings in that you have to be physically home for it to constitute a home invasion. So when you come home or you leave your home unattended, but it's secured, and people stereotypically enter into that dwelling, it becomes burglary. It's classified as a burglary case, and there's differences there. You can be home. We've seen reports lately where people have been home, residents have been home where they're sleeping and they've witnessed somebody actually leaving their property, leaving their residence and everything and stuff, and that in itself constitutes a home invasion. So understanding that the differences and stuff and what you can do and how to report it, it simply is you discovering the fact that you've been violated. Report it to the Guam Police Department. We need to get this information because, the information that we receive at patrol level will be filtered up to our Criminal Investigations Division for follow-up. And, all the cases that we do, there's inventory that's done. There's reports that are taken to showcase what had happened. And with the follow-up, anything that leads to an arrest, we can come back to the reports. Any stolen items that have been inventoried and documented, it comes back into the reports, and that can be used as evidence to tag onto more cases because our investigators have been really doing their due diligence and bringing closures to a lot of cases. And, from a simple traffic stop to where a suspect may be pulled over or an individual may be pulled over, the officers may find bigger and better things within that traffic stop. And, sometimes we do get lucky where we actually have the goods within the car.
Do you have any statistics or numbers on the amount of home invasions we've maybe even experienced this year in Guam?
We've released the Communitycentric report, and it really details as to what crimes were reported, and it's required. Every government agency, every agency within the island has to report on that. So it has been released, I believe, in August, both to the Speaker's office and of course to the Office of the Public Auditor. So it's there, it's public record. Unfortunately, I don't have it now, but we're starting to see the frequent reports of burglaries and home invasions. So, what we can do as a community, and as we progress towards the holiday season, we're going to be working with various, nonprofit organizations to talk about what they can do to safeguard themselves. We're going to be working with, the Guam Police Department in assuring, how we can actually fortify your homes and ensure that, you're safe throughout the holiday season. So, we just want to highlight this, and it's critical that we bring this out there because, the violent nature of the act and, of course, what he had to do, it speaks volumes of how, the intent of the perpetrators and what they're trying to do. I mean, if it was just a simple robbery, to the extent of beating a guy with a baseball bat, it can be, it could end up serious. We could have something serious in our hand had he not had the initiative to actually safeguard himself by seeking help.
And the victim's okay.
So far, based on the reports, he was treated at scene, but he refused any further medical treatments.
Now, are there any safeguard tips you have for our viewers right now?
It really is, you doing your part in safeguarding your home. Areas like this, we've done neighborhood watch presentations. We had our safety symposium at the Guam Community College a few months ago. We had residents from various, who were tenants actually from various apartments along the area, getting involved with a neighborhood watch program. The island is moving forward with a lot of the neighborhood watch initiatives. That's one of the first things that we recommend. Connect yourself with a neighborhood watch program. Connect yourself with a program that works. Connect yourself with people that you trust. Start a neighborhood watch within your community. Start a neighborhood watch within your neighborhood. Secondly is reevaluating your home. Look for safety measures that you feel that, do a home assessment. See where you feel that you may be vulnerable, whether the entry can be made to a door that's flimsy, that's not regulated, that's not a solid core door. Invest in deadbolt locks. Invest in locking mechanisms that can't be easily manipulated from the outside. Look at your points of entry into a resident, the homes. Is it visible where the community, where passerbyers can actually look in to see if something's happening? Your windows. Do you have locking mechanisms? Do you have latches? Do you have other types of security?
Invest security cameras up here too.
And yes, that's critical. In any investigation, and it also adds aid as a deterrent. But look at different things, different factors in which you can actually do from the exterior aspect different things that you can do within your home. Invest in alarm systems. Invest in systems that actually can deter people from actually coming in and making yourself a victim. Get a pet. Get a pet that makes noise. Get a pet that that will deter, whether they're big and their bark is bigger than their bite, or it really is a deterrence, because realistically, criminals don't want to get caught. And that's the whole purpose of getting the pet, because the dogs, they're the first, they can pick up things in which the humans can, and they can actually alert the pet owner about something that's happening or something that's about to happen. So, these are some small steps in which you can actually do to prevent this from happening.
Okay, anything else you want to add?
No, other than, this is going to be leading into our segue into the holiday season. It's unfortunate that we're utilizing this. But again, if anybody has any information about this incident that happened on Friday, October 18th, around 7 o'clock here at the GFT building, we know for a fact that the individuals were armed with a bat. They were last seen wearing hooded jackets, hooded sweaters with pants. We know for a fact that they were men. The victim had it identified as men. And we know for a fact that they ran towards this direction, towards GW. If anybody had seen anything suspicious or seen anything out of the ordinary, this is an opportunity where we can actually be stewards of our community by reporting crime. Whether you call the Guam Police Department directly at 472-8911 or utilize the Guam Crime Stoppers program. Again, I am the Guam Crime Stoppers coordinator, and we've been, the Crime Stoppers have been, it's paid dividends a lot with a lot of what has happened on the island and everything. And seeing this, it really helps us understand what happened. So maybe we can just take a walk down and see where exactly they ran off to, and just look at the general area. But reporting like what we talked about, reporting about the burglaries, reporting about any crime. It's important that the citizens understand that in order for us to really move or to bring justice to what had happened, we need the first initial report.
Right.
And it's that important piece that you report it and you be as detailed and very thorough as possible in how to report crime and what to report. Valuables that were taken, heirlooms that that have significant markings that of. These are things in which our first line officers, which are usually our patrol officers, need to know, so that when they forward the reports to our criminal investigation division, they have a general understanding of what to look for. So
Every detail.
Yes, that's.
And even when it comes to the suspects, I know that they've said, like, don't just say long hair, say, shoulder length or this length, or if it's a female or what have you, but just every detail matters.
It does. And, when we go out to the schools, we teach the students to pay attention to details, to make an assessment of what stands out. Scars, the tone of voice, if you can identify the accent and what they've spoken, look for tattoos, look for distinct markings. And that's important. We've had, gone are the days where people are reporting the standard, 5'5", medium built, brown skin, black hair. That's a typical Pacific Islander. We ask them to look for details, birthmarks, scars, tattoos, distinct hairstyle. These have actually paid dividends for us when we did our photo IDs. It paid dividends with a lot of our cases where people have actually been victims, and we're able to identify individuals based on significant markings. We had a few years ago, we had a kidnapping where they were looking for a distinct marking was a mole, and the 6-year-old victim was able to identify that. And that's where we stress that at that moment in time, you need to make an assessment. We know that things are moving so fast.
In that moment, it can be kind of difficult.
Yeah, and it really is. When I do my presentation, I tell people, if you ever watch The Matrix, move into that Matrix moment where things are moving so fast, but at that moment in time, you're slowing things down so that you can actually have a full recollection of what's going on, because your thought process and your memory process is absorbing what's happening. You are instinctively reacting to protect and defend yourself. But at that moment, things should slow down for you. Things, pay attention to details. Pay attention to what you see is happening in front of you. Get a good description. Use your senses. This is our actual survival mechanism that we have. It's instinctively, it's in us, but we don't know how to really bring it out. And it takes time. It really does. You may have a traumatic incident that happened that may trigger that for you to actually say, I do remember, I do recall what happened, because it'll replay back.
Come back in
It
your
does,
mind.
it does,
Yeah.
and
Even
that's
if you don't remember initially.
yeah, and that's why we come back and we do re-interviews. And if our detectives have a great lead, they come back when maybe a day, maybe a week, where the victim has time to really process and put everything back into perspective as to what happened. And in sports, we call it framing. You put it into frameworks of the sequence of events that happen. And when that process comes back, when we ask the questions again, it triggers something to where now they say, okay, I remember clearly. I may have said this, but this is what he was wearing. I may have said this, and this is how he looks like. This is what I'm looking at. And then we can able to move from there, and we can actually do a photo lineup, and we can actually provide actual information, actual pictures about, can you identify if any of these 6 individuals may be the individual that was responsible, and you see it, it'll click. It'll click so fast that it's just, whether it's that that trauma incident that happened, or that incident that occurred, they come back and they say, that's him, that's the individual, that's the person responsible. So paying attention to details, very, very critical.
So these 2 suspects, they fled on foot, or?
Yes, they were seen fleeing on foot towards this area, and this is again heavily populated area with the apartment complexes here nearby. We know that people 7 o'clock in the evening, they can be looking out in their windows. Look for details. We're asking this because these small things that you may have seen may help us. That may be the piece within the puzzle that we were looking for. Where they ran to, what sort of, were they associated with a gang? Because if you see them around, if they're common, if they're known to the area, people see them, they're loitering. You may find areas where they loiter around the small mom and pop stores, or they may be around the vicinity of the schools, or within the homes. So these are small fractions in which we ask the community to pay attention to. If you've seen them before, if you recall the incident that happened, this is the information in which we need, so that we can able to put the pieces back together relative to this home invasion case.
All right, well, thank you, Sergeant Paul Powell. And the investigation is ongoing. And just one more time, if people have any information, what's the number to call?
So you can utilize the Guam Crime Stopper the tip line at guam.crimestoppersweb.com. Visit the Guam Crime Stoppers. We have information about our P3 app. You can actually submit a tip online using that. We're going to be launching that P3 app. We're going to bring it out to the community about how we can actually have the P3 app available for our handheld devices. You can call our dispatchers at 472-8911 or 475-8615-7. Any information that we get is critical information that we can use in our investigation.
Okay, well, everyone stay safe, and thank you all for starting your way the KUAM way. Your day the KUAM way.